The autumn wind bit through Emma's cardigan as she locked up the Brightwood Community Center. Paint still stained her fingers, vibrant blues and yellows that reminded her why she stayed. Her phone buzzed. "Mother, family dinner tonight. 7 sharp. Don't be late." Emma's stomach dropped. 2 hours later, she stood in her mother's pristine kitchen, invisible as always. Diana lounged on the velvet sofa, scrolling through her phone with perfect nails, catching the light. "Girls, I have news." Patricia's voice carried that dangerous edge. "We've been invited to the Gabriel Stone Foundation Gala next Friday." Diana barely looked up. "Who?" "Only Chicago's most successful tech entrepreneur. 34, single, worth $200 million. Patricia's eyes gleamed. "He's looking to settle down." Emma's hand stilled on the cheese platter. "I mentioned to Caroline Whitmore that you were becoming quite influential on social media. Diana, Gabriel might appreciate meeting someone with your reach and beauty." Diana stood, examining herself in the mirror. "I suppose I could make time? What's the dress code?" "Black tie? Only the finest." "Emma, you're still here," Patricia said, as if noticing her for the first time. "Could you get us wine from the cellar?" As Emma descended the stairs, Diana's laugh echoed above. Can you imagine if Emma showed up to something like that? In one of her thrift store dresses with paint under her fingernails? Patricia's response was quieter, but Emma caught every word. "Don't be cruel, Diana. Your sister has her place in the world. It's just different from yours." Emma selected the Chardonnay, blinking back tears she'd learned long ago not to shed. The week passed. Children's laughter. Teenagers' dreams. Her small studio apartment where she created art nobody would see. Friday morning, her mother called. "Emma, we have a situation." Diana decided Gabriel Stone's social media presence is too boring. She's not attending. Emma stirred sugar into her coffee, waiting. "Someone from our family needs to attend." The Whitmore secured this invitation. "It would be embarrassing to know. Do you want me to go to a black tie gala? Tonight? It's just a few hours." Diana left one of her dresses here. The navy one. "Please, Emma. Do this for the family." After hanging up, Emma stared at her reflection. Dark brown waves. Minimal makeup. Her father's warm eyes. She knew this was a joke. The awkward sister meeting a billionaire? A funny story for Diana's followers later. But something stirred in her chest. A spark of defiance. That evening, she stood before the mirror in Diana's navy dress. It fit perfectly, hugging curves she usually hid. Pearl earrings. An elegant updo. Subtle makeup that enhanced rather than transformed. She looked like a different version of herself. Not Diana's shadow. Her own person. The Four Seasons glittered with chandeliers and Chicago's elite. Emma accepted champagne from a passing waiter, trying to blend into the edges. The art collection is more interesting than the crowd, don't you think? She turned. A distinguished older man with silver hair and kind eyes stood beside her. "I haven't seen the art collection yet." "Then you must. Mr. Stone has curated it specifically. He believes charity galas should inspire as well as raise funds." "I'm Mr. Bernard, Mr. Stone's executive assistant. I'm a Rodriguez." Mr. Bernard's eyes twinkled. "Ah, yes. We've been expecting you. Though I must say, the information we received suggested Diana Rodriguez would be attending." Emma's face flushed. There was a last-minute change. "I'm her sister. How fortunate for us." Mr. Stone particularly wanted to meet the Rodriguez family member, who runs art programs for underserved youth. "I believe that's you." Emma's heart stopped. "He knew about my work?" "Mr. Stone makes it his business to research backgrounds. He's far more interested in what people do than who they're related to. Come, let me introduce you." Mr. Bernard led her through the crowd to a quieter gallery space. Contemporary art lined the walls. Emma was immediately drawn to a vibrant abstract that seemed to capture movement and emotion in bold strokes. "That's a local artist," a deep voice said behind her. "Someone who overcame homelessness to pursue their passion. The foundation helped fund their first studio space." Emma turned. Gabriel Stone was taller than his photo suggested, dark hair touched with gray at the temples. intelligent green eyes that seemed to see past surface appearances. He wore his tuxedo with casual elegance. "It's extraordinary," Emma said, finding her voice. "You can feel the journey in every brushstroke, the darkness at the edges pushing toward the light in the center." Gabriel smiled, a genuine expression that transformed his serious features. "Most people just comment on the colors. You actually see it." "I teach art at the Brightwood Community Center on the South Side. We focus on giving kids access to supplies, instruction they wouldn't otherwise have." "I know. That's why I hoped you would come tonight." Emma stared at him. "But the invitation was for my sister, Diana." Gabriel gestured toward a quiet corner with 2 chairs positioned before a stunning landscape. They sat. "Miss Rodriguez, may I be honest with you?" "Please call me Emma." "And yes. Your mother contacted several mutual acquaintances trying to secure an introduction between Diana and myself." Paused. "When I researched your family, I discovered your work at Brightwood. I've been following your program for 6 months. The mural project you did with the teenagers last spring was featured in a community outreach publication I subscribed to. You wanted to meet me? I specifically requested that the invitation include your name as well as Diana's. I hoped you might attend." His expression became more serious. "I'm tired of meeting people who only see my bank account. When I read about a woman who took a degree from the School of the Art Institute of Chicago and chose to work for barely above minimum wage because she believed in making art accessible to everyone, I thought perhaps I might meet someone who understood what truly matters." Emma searched his face for mockery or pity. Found only sincerity. "My family sent me as a joke," she said quietly. "Diana thought it would be funny. The boring sister meeting the boring billionaire." Gabriel laughed. "Rich and unguarded. Well, then let's prove them wrong. Would you like to see the rest of the collection?" "I'd love to hear your thoughts on each piece." They spent 2 hours wandering through the gallery space. Emma forgot about the gala, the other guests, even her family. Gabriel listened with genuine interest as she analyzed compositions and techniques. He shared stories about the artists his foundation had supported. When they disagreed about the meaning of a particularly abstract sculpture, they debated with mutual respect and humor. "I should let you return to your other guests," Emma finally said. "Or," Gabriel said, his eyes holding hers, "you could have dinner with me. There's a quiet Italian restaurant nearby. No crowds, no photographers. Just conversation." Emma hesitated. "Unless I've misread this entirely," Gabriel added quickly. "If you're not interested, I completely understand." "No," Emma said, surprising herself with her certainty. "I'd love to have dinner with you." As they left through a private exit, Emma caught sight of her reflection in a window. She looked different. Not because of the dress or the makeup, but because of the light in her eyes. For the first time in years, she felt truly seen. 6 weeks felt like living in a dream. Emma was afraid to wake from Gabriel, called every morning, coffee before her classes, dinners after his meetings, walks along the lakefront where they talked until stars appeared above the Chicago skyline. Emma discovered Gabriel was nothing like the cold businessman she'd imagined. He grew up in Detroit, son of a factory worker and a nurse. His first company, built in his college apartment, revolutionized supply chain management. The wealth that followed seemed to genuinely puzzle him. "I was trying to solve a problem," he told her one evening as they sat on a bench overlooking Lake Michigan. The October wind carried the scent of water and falling leaves. The money just happened. Most people chased the money. Most people didn't grow up watching their father work double shifts and still struggle to pay bills. His jaw tightened. "I remember the exact moment I decided to build something different. I was 12. Dad came home with his hand bandaged. Machine malfunction. He'd missed a day of work and Mom was crying over the bills. I swore I'd create systems that protected people like him." Emma reached for his hand. He laced his fingers through hers. "What about you?" he asked. "Why art education? You could be in a gallery somewhere, making real money from your work." "My father took me to the Art Institute when I was 7. I stood in front of a Monet, and something inside me cracked open. I felt everything. Joy, sadness, hope, all at once." She smiled at the memory. Dad said art was a language that spoke when words failed. After he died, I realized some kids never get that moment. Never stand in front of something beautiful and feel their world expand. I wanted to give them that. Your mother doesn't understand. My mother stopped understanding me when my father's heart attack took him. She decided grief was weakness. Diana became her project, the perfect daughter who would marry well and restore our family's status. Emma's voice dropped. I became the reminder of everything she lost. Gabriel pulled her closer. Their loss. That night, he kissed her for the first time. Soft and searching, like a question. Emma answered with certainty she didn't know she possessed. But paradise never lasts. The call came on a Tuesday morning. Emma was teaching a painting class when her phone vibrated relentlessly. Finally, during a break, she checked 17 missed calls from her mother, 3 from Diana 20-6. Texts, her hands shook as she opened the messages. Diana, you need to see this. A link to a gossip site. The headline made Emma's blood run cold. Tech billionaire Gabriel Stone, spotted with mystery woman. Is this his future, Mrs.? Photos of them. Walking by the lake. Entering restaurants. Laughing together. In one photo from the gala. Emma in Diana's navy dress, Gabriel's hand on her back, both of them looking at each other with undeniable intimacy. Her mother's text. Call me now. Emma stepped into the hallway, hands trembling as she dialed. What were you thinking? Patricia's voice was ice and fire. Do you have any idea what you've done? I went to dinner. You asked me to attend the gala, asked you to make an appearance. Not to seduce a billionaire meant for your sister. Diana didn't even want to go. That's not the point. Patricia's breathing was ragged. Diana has worked for years to build her brand, her image. And you swoop in like some opportunistic nobody and steal the one chance this family had at real elevation? Mother, it's not like that. Gabriel and I connected. He's genuine and kind, and he actually sees me. Sees you? Patricia laughed. A bitter, cutting sound. Emma, listen to yourself. Men like Gabriel Stone don't end up with women like you. You're a charity case to him. A feel-good project. The poor art teacher. He can parade around to show how down-to-earth he is before he marries someone appropriate. The words hit like physical blows. Diana is devastated, Patricia continued. Absolutely devastated. She's been crying all morning. The humiliation of watching her sister, her plain sister, steal the man everyone expected her to date. No one expected anything. Diana rejected him before she even met him. Come to the house tonight. 7 o'clock. We need to discuss this as a family. I don't think that's a good idea, Emma. Patricia's voice dropped to a dangerous whisper. If you care about this family at all, you will be here. 7 o'clock. The line went dead. Emma stood in the empty hallway, fluorescent lights humming overhead. Her phone buzzed again. Gabriel. I saw the photos. Are you okay? Can I call you? Before she could respond, another text arrived. From Diana, we need to talk. Just you and me, please. I'm sorry about all of this. Meet me for coffee? The usual place. 3 p.m. Emma stared at the message. Diana never apologized. Never asked to talk. Just you and me? Something felt wrong. But maybe, just maybe, her sister had finally seen her as something other than competition. At 3 o'clock, Emma entered the small coffee shop near her apartment. Diana sat in the corner booth, designer sunglasses hiding her eyes. Despite being indoors, Emma slid into the seat across from her. Diana removed the sunglasses. Her eyes were red, but whether from crying or rage, Emma couldn't tell. I'll get straight to it, Diana said. I want you to stop seeing Gabriel Stone. Emma's chest tightened. Diana, I know this must be strange, but Gabriel and I genuinely care about each other. He never wanted to meet you. He specifically wanted to meet me. I know. Diana's smile was sharp. That's what makes this so delicious. Emma froze. You actually thought this was real, didn't you? Diana leaned forward. Emma, you sweet, naive fool. Gabriel Stone is playing you. You don't know him. I know men like him. Rich, powerful, bored. They love the idea of slumming it with the poor charity worker. It makes them feel noble. But when it's time to actually commit, to introduce you to their real social circle, to marry, Diana laughed. They go back to women like me. Women who understand how that world actually works. You're wrong, am I? Let me tell you what's going to happen. Gabriel will date you for a few months. Maybe 6, if you're lucky. He'll tell you you're different, special, that you understand him in ways no one else does. And then slowly, he'll start canceling plans. He'll get busier. The calls will come less frequently. And one day, you'll see photos of him with someone else. Someone from his world. And you'll realize I was right all along. Emma stood. I'm leaving. Mom told me what happened with Dad's life insurance money. Emma froze, hand on her purse. The money Mom said she invested for both of us. She only invested Diana's half. Yours. She used it to pay off her credit cards and redecorate the apartment. Diana's voice was almost gentle. You've been working yourself to exhaustion while I've been building a nest egg you should have had to? Mom told me last year, made me promise not to say anything. Emma's vision blurred. I'm sorry, Emma. I really am. But this is just how our family works. You're the one who sacrifices. I'm the one who succeeds. And Mom orchestrates it all. Diana stood, putting her sunglasses back on. Walk away from Gabriel now while you still have some dignity. Before he breaks your heart and confirms everything Mom's always said about you. Diana left. $50 on the table for a coffee Emma hadn't ordered. Emma sat alone in the booth, the weight of betrayal crushing her chest. Her phone rang. Gabriel. She stared at it. Diana's words echoing in her mind. Men like Gabriel Stone. Don't end up with women like you. The phone stopped ringing. Outside, rain began to fall. Emma didn't answer Gabriel's calls for 3 days. She told herself she needed space to think, to process Diana's revelation about the insurance money, to understand what was real and what was manipulation. But the truth was simpler and more terrifying. She was afraid. Diana might be right. On Thursday evening, Gabriel showed up at the community center. Emma was cleaning paintbrushes, alone in the art room. The sound of his knock made her heart lurch. Emma. His voice carried relief and worry in equal measure. I've been going crazy. Are you okay? Did something happen? She set down the brushes, not turning to face him. I needed time to think. About us. About everything. Crossed the room, his reflection appearing in the window beside hers. Talk to me, please. Whatever's wrong, we can work through it, can we? Emma finally turned. Gabriel, be honest. What do you see when you look at me? I see a woman who's brilliant, compassionate, stronger than she knows. Do you see someone you could marry? Someone you could introduce to your board of directors, your investors, your high society friends? Something shifted in his expression. Emma, where is this coming from? Just answer the question. Yes. His voice was firm. I see exactly that person. You're lying. I'm not. Then why haven't you introduced me to anyone in your life? The words tumbled out. 6 weeks, Gabriel. 6 weeks of coffee and dinners and walks, but never to your friends. Never to your business associates. We hide in quiet restaurants and empty galleries. Like you're ashamed. That's not fair. His jaw tightened. I was giving us time to develop without outside pressure. You know what the media is like? I was protecting what we have. Or protecting your image. Emma, this isn't you talking. Someone got in your head. My sister told me the truth. Her voice cracked. That men like you don't end up with women like me? That I'm a project. A feel-good story you'll tell at fundraisers before you marry someone appropriate. Gabriel's face went pale. Your sister. The one who didn't even want to meet me. Who your mother tried to set me up with like I was a prize to be won. He stepped closer. Emma, I need you to hear me. Really hear me. I fell for you because you're real. Because you don't see me as a bank account or a status symbol. Because when you look at me, you see a person. not a portfolio. That's what you say now. It's what I'll say always. He reached for her hand. She pulled away. I can't do this. Can't or won't? I don't know. Tears burned her eyes. Gabriel, you have no idea what it's like to be invisible your whole life. To watch everything good go to someone else. To be told over and over that you're not enough. And then you show up and you see me and it feels too good to be true? Because it probably is. So you're going to walk away because you're scared. I'm walking away because I'm smart. Gabriel stared at her for a long moment. When he spoke, his voice was rough with emotion. I grew up watching my father sacrifice everything for a system that didn't value him. I swore I'd never let fear make my decisions. I built everything I have by betting on things other people said were impossible. He moved to the door, then paused. But I can't make you believe in us, Emma. That's a choice only you can make. He left. Emma sank into a chair, surrounded by children's artwork, bright colors and hopeful dreams created by kids who didn't yet know. The world would try to dim their light, just like it had dimmed hers that night. She went to her mother's apartment. Patricia greeted her with tea and sympathy. I know this has been difficult, sweetheart, but you made the right choice. Did I? Of course. Men like Gabriel Stone live in a different world. A world where you'd always feel out of place. Where people would whisper about how he could do better. Where you'd constantly wonder when he'd realize his mistake. Patricia squeezed her hand. I'm trying to protect you from that heartbreak. Like you protected me from knowing about Dad's insurance money. Patricia's face went rigid. Diana told you. Why? Why would you do that? Because Diana needed a foundation. She had potential, opportunities. You were already set on your path, working with underprivileged children. The money would have just sat in an account while Diana was building something real. So you decided my inheritance didn't matter. I decided to invest in the daughter who could actually make something of herself. Patricia's composure cracked. Do you think I wanted this? To have one daughter who shines and one who insists on dimming her own light? You chose this life, Emma. You chose poverty and obscurity and martyrdom. Don't blame me for accepting your choice. Emma stood. You're right. I did choose this life. Because it means something. Because those kids I teach, they matter more than your social status or Diana's Instagram following or any of this performative nobility. Then why are you here crying over a billionaire? The question hit like a slap. I'm here because I wanted to hear you say you were wrong. That you saw me? That you valued what I do. Emma's voice broke. But you can't, can you? Because that would mean admitting you failed me. That you chose one daughter over the other and dressed it up as pragmatism. Emma, I'm done. Emma moved toward the door. I'm done letting you make me feel small. Done apologizing for who I am. Done seeking approval from people who will never give it. If you walk out that door, don't come back expecting sympathy when Gabriel Stone breaks your heart. Emma paused, hand on the doorknob. Maybe he will. Maybe Diana's right, and this whole thing is temporary. She looked back at her mother. But at least I'll have tried. At least I'll have chosen hope over fear. That's more than you've done in 5 years. She left. Outside, the November air bit through her jacket. Emma pulled out her phone, staring at Gabriel's last message. I'm here when you're ready. No pressure. Just know that I'm not going anywhere. Before she could talk herself out of it, she called him Emma. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I let fear make my decision, just like you said. Where are you? Outside my mother's apartment. Send me the address. I'll be there in 10 minutes. Gabriel, I need to tell you something first. About why I pulled away. About what Diana said and what my mother did and all the poison I've been carrying. Tell me in person. Let me hold you while you do. 12 minutes later, his car pulled up. Emma climbed in, and before she could speak, Gabriel pulled her close. I have something to tell you too, he said quietly. Something I should have mentioned sooner. About why I really wanted to meet you. Emma's stomach dropped. What? 5 years ago, your father came to one of my early foundation meetings. He was representing the Brightwood Community Center asking for funding for art supplies. We talked for hours about the importance of creativity in underserved communities, about giving kids hope through beauty. Gabriel's voice was thick with emotion. He mentioned his daughter who just graduated from the Art Institute, who wanted to teach instead of sell her work. He was so proud of you, Emma, so certain you were going to change lives. You knew my father? He died 2 weeks after that meeting. Heart attack. I saw his obituary. Gabriel cupped her face. When I researched the Rodriguez family, I recognized your name immediately. I'd been following Brightwood's programs ever since, partly because your father's passion had inspired me, partly because I wanted to see if you'd fulfilled his dream. And you had. You exceeded it. Tears streamed down Emma's face. Why didn't you tell me? Because I wanted you to trust that I saw you for you. Not because I'd known your father. Not because I felt obligated by some old conversation. But because you're extraordinary in your own right. Emma kissed him. Desperate and believing and terrified all at once. When they broke apart, Gabriel pressed his forehead to hers. I'll have a board dinner next week. Annual meeting with all my major investors and directors. I'd like you to come with me. As my partner. Not hidden, not protected. Just us, together, facing whatever comes. Gabriel, those people will eat me alive. Then we'll face them together. And if they can't see what I see, that's their loss, not ours. Emma nodded, not trusting her voice, but neither of them noticed the figure standing in the shadows across the street, Diana. Phone in hand, recording everything. And she was smiling. The board dinner was held in a private room at Alinea, one of Chicago's most exclusive restaurants. Emma wore a simple black dress she'd bought herself. Not borrowed. Not Diana's cast-off. Hers. Gabriel's hand rested on her back as they entered. 12 pairs of eyes turned to assess her. Everyone, Gabriel said with quiet confidence. This is Emma Rodriguez, my partner. The words sent warmth through her chest. The evening started well enough. Emma spoke about Brightwood's programs when asked, careful not to dominate conversation. An older woman named Margaret seemed genuinely interested in the mural project. A younger investor asked thoughtful questions about measuring impact in arts education. Then Victoria Chen, Gabriel's CFO, leaned forward. Her smile was sharp as broken glass. Forgive my curiosity, but I did some research after Gabriel mentioned you'd be joining us. Your salary at Brightwood is barely above minimum wage, correct? Gabriel's hand tightened on his water glass. Victoria, I don't think that's appropriate. I'm simply establishing context. Emma works in non-profit arts education while Gabriel runs a $200 million company. That's quite a gap in lifestyle and expectations. Different doesn't mean incompatible, Emma said evenly. Of course not. Though I imagine the adjustment must be jarring. Suddenly having access to private cars, expensive dinners, social circles that operate by rules you're probably still learning. The table went quiet. Victoria. Gabriel's voice carried warning. I'm not being cruel, Gabriel. I'm being practical. Your last relationship ended because Alexandra couldn't handle the pressure of your public life, and she grew up in this world. I'm concerned about what happens when the novelty wears off and Emma realizes this life isn't a fairy tale. Emma felt every eye on her, judging, weighing, finding her wanting. You're right, Emma said quietly. I don't know the rules of this world. I don't know which fork to use for which course, or how to small talk about yacht clubs and summer homes. I didn't grow up with any of this. Victoria's smile was victorious. But I know how to show up for people who need me. I know how to turn $15 of art supplies into hope for a kid who thinks the world forgot them. I know how to see potential where others see problems. Emma met Victoria's gaze. And I know Gabriel well enough to understand he doesn't value the things you're measuring me by. Margaret raised her glass. Well said, but Victoria wasn't finished. Tell me, Emma, what would you do if Gabriel's business faced a crisis? If his reputation was threatened and saving it meant stepping back from the spotlight, could you make that sacrifice? If Gabriel needed me to, yes. Because relationships aren't about spotlight. They're about showing up when things get hard. How noble. Victoria's phone buzzed. She glanced at it, and something shifted in her expression. Though I wonder if you'd feel the same way if the threat to his reputation came from you. What are you talking about? Gabriel demanded. Victoria turned her phone around. The video played on the small screen. Emma recognized the scene immediately. Outside her mother's apartment, her and Gabriel in his car, kissing, but the audio had been edited, spliced, manipulated. Gabriel's voice, I have something to tell you. About why I really wanted to meet you. Then Emma's voice, but from a different conversation entirely. I need the money. Gabriel's voice again. Your father came to one of my foundation meetings. Emma's voice. So you'll help my program? The video cut to them kissing, but the context had been warped beyond recognition. It looked like Emma had seduced Gabriel for funding, like she'd used her father's memory to manipulate a billionaire. Where did you get this? Gabriel's voice was ice. Asterisk, it was sent to me anonymously an hour ago, along with a message suggesting I might want to warn you that your new girlfriend is using you for financial gain. Victoria's expression was almost sympathetic. I'm sorry, Gabriel. I know you care about her, but this looks very bad. Emma's hands shook. That's not what happened. Someone edited that conversation. Of course you'd say that. Victoria, stop. Gabriel's voice cut through the room. Emma is telling the truth. I was there. I know what we actually discussed. Gabriel, be reasonable. This video will be everywhere by morning. Your reputation, the foundation's reputation, everything you've built could be questioned. Because people will think you let yourself be manipulated by someone looking for a payout. Emma stood abruptly. Excuse me? She made it to the bathroom before the tears came. Leaning against the cold marble sink, she stared at her reflection. The same face that had looked so hopeful getting dressed tonight now looked haunted. The door opened. Not Gabriel. Diana. Asterisk. Hello, sister. Emma's blood ran cold. You did this. I tried to warn you. Tried to get you to walk away nicely. Diana checked her lipstick in the mirror. But you had to go and fall in love. Had to believe you deserved him. You edited that video. I captured a moment and provided context people will believe. Because deep down, everyone expects girls like you to have an angle. Nobody gets with a billionaire out of pure love. There's always something else. Gabriel knows the truth. Does he? Diana turned to face her. Or will there always be a seed of doubt? A tiny voice asking if maybe Victoria was right. If maybe you saw an opportunity and took it? Why are you doing this? Diana's mask slipped. Underneath was something raw and desperate. Because you were supposed to stay in your place. You were supposed to be the martyr, the selfless one who never asked for more. And I was supposed to be the success story. That was the arrangement. That was how our family worked. Her voice cracked. But then you met Gabriel, and suddenly you had everything. The career you love, the man who worships you, the moral high ground. And what do I have? A social media following built on lies, and a mother who will throw me away the second I stop being useful. Emma saw it then. The truth beneath the cruelty. You're jealous. I'm terrified. Diana's composure shattered. I'm 25 years old, with no real skills, no genuine relationships, no idea who I am when the camera's off. I built my entire life on being the pretty one, the successful one. And you showed me how empty that is by actually being happy. Diana, don't pity me. I made my choice. Diana wiped her eyes, rebuilding her armor. That video goes live in 1 hour, unless you end things with, Gabriel, cleanly, publicly, tell him you realized you're not compatible. That Victoria was right. Walk away, and I delete it. And if I don't, then his reputation burns. The foundation gets dragged through investigations. Every grant he's given, every program he's funded, all of it gets questioned. And you'll watch the man you love lose everything he built because he met you. Emma leaned against the sink, the weight of the choice crushing her. 1 hour, Emma. 60 minutes to decide what matters more. Your happiness or his legacy. Diana left. Emma stood alone in the bathroom. Her reflection fractured in the mirror's harsh light. She thought about Gabriel, about the kids at Brightwood, about her father, who'd believed she could change lives through art, about the fact that sometimes love meant letting go. When she returned to the table, Gabriel stood immediately. "Emma, we're leaving. We'll figure this out together." "No." Her voice was steady. "Certain we won't." "What?" Victoria was right. "We're from different worlds, Gabriel. I thought I could bridge that gap, but I can't." This, she gestured to the room, the people, the life he inhabited. "This isn't me, and it never will be." Gabriel's face went pale. "Emma, don't do this. Not because of Victoria or some edited video or any of it. I'm doing this because it's true. I love teaching art to kids who need it. I love my small apartment and my simple life. And you deserve someone who can stand beside you in this world without becoming a liability." "You're not a liability." "You're everything." Emma's heart shattered. But she forced herself to keep going. "I'm sorry, Gabriel. I really am. But this is over." She walked out of the restaurant, out of his life, into the November cold where Diana waited, phone in hand, smile victorious. "Smart choice, sister. See? You always were the selfless one." Emma didn't respond. She just walked, behind her, through the restaurant window. She could see Gabriel, still standing at the table, looking lost, and she kept walking. 3 days passed like years. Emma taught her classes on autopilot, smiled at the children, praised their work, went home to her empty apartment and stared at walls that suddenly felt like a cage. She'd built herself. Gabriel called 17 times the first day, texted constantly. "This isn't over. I know something happened. Talk to me, Emma, please. Let me fix this. I love you. That's all that matters." She didn't respond. Couldn't. Because responding meant explaining. And explaining meant Diana would release the video and Gabriel would lose everything. On the 4th day, Mr. Bernard showed up at the community center.
"Oh, Miss Rodriguez."
"May I have a moment?" Emma led him to her office, a closet-sized space filled with art supplies and grant applications. "Mr. Stone is worried about you." "I'm fine." "You're a terrible liar." Mr. Bernard sat in the only other chair. "In the 40 years I've worked for Gabriel and his family, I've never seen him like this. Whatever happened, whatever you think you're protecting him from, it's destroying him more than any scandal could. You don't understand? Then help me understand." Emma stared at this kind man who'd welcomed her at the gala, who'd seen her when she felt invisible. "If I'm with Gabriel, someone will release a video that makes it look like I'm using him for money. It will damage his reputation, hurt the foundation, destroy everything he's built. Walking away was the only way to protect him. Who has this video? My sister." Mr. Bernard was quiet for a long moment. Then he pulled out his phone. "It's Rodriguez. There's something you should know. Gabriel asked me to investigate the source of that video the night of the dinner. What I discovered might surprise you." He showed her his screen. Email exchanges, financial records, phone logs. Victoria Chen has been embezzling from the foundation for 8 months. Small amounts, carefully hidden. She needed Gabriel, distracted, discredited, or both, to avoid detection. When she learned about your relationship, she saw an opportunity. Emma's mind raced. But Diana recorded that video. "Yes. Victoria contacted your sister 2 weeks ago. Offered her $50,000 to create content that could be used against you. The video was supposed to force Gabriel to end the relationship or face scandal. But you ended it yourself, which worked even better for Victoria's purposes. A heartbroken, distracted Gabriel is easier to manipulate. Diana sold me out for $50,000. She took the payment, but she hasn't delivered the final edited version to Victoria yet. According to the message logs I accessed, Diana keeps stalling, making excuses, almost like she's having second thoughts." Emma's phone rang. "Diana," she answered. "Emma." Diana's voice was strange, tight. "Can you come to Mom's apartment?" "No, why?" "Just come, please." 20 minutes later, Emma stood in her mother's living room. Diana and Patricia sat on the sofa. The atmosphere was thick with tension. "Tell her," Patricia said coldly, Diana's hands shook. Victoria Chen approached me with an offer. Money to help her discredit you and Gabriel. I took it. I recorded that video and edited it to make you look like you were using him.
Oh.
Gabriel's assistant figured it out. Diana looked up, startled. Then you know Victoria's been stealing from the foundation? Yes. She contacted me an hour ago. Said if I didn't send her the final video tonight, she'd release evidence that I was the one embezzling. She manufactured bank records, emails, everything. She'll destroy me to protect herself. Patricia stood. This is absurd. We'll call our lawyers and tell them what? Diana's voice broke. That I took $50,000 to frame my sister. That I'm an accomplice to someone embezzling from a charity? Mom, I'm going to prison. Emma stared at her sister, at the designer clothes and perfect hair and the absolute terror underneath. Unless Diana said quietly, unless Gabriel helps me. If he goes public with the real evidence against Victoria, if he proves she orchestrated everything and I was just a pawn, maybe I have a chance. You want me to ask Gabriel for help? After everything you've done to us, I know I don't deserve it. I know I'm a terrible person. But Emma, I'm scared. Really scared. And you're the only one who can help me. Emma looked at her mother. Patricia's face was stone. This is your fault, Emma said to Patricia. You created this. You put us against each other. You valued one daughter's success over the other's humanity. And now look at us. Don't you dare blame me for Diana's choices. I blame you for making her think her worth was tied to being better than me. For making me think I had to be invisible to deserve love. For turning your daughters into competitors instead of sisters. Emma's voice was steel. But I'm done with your poison. Both of you have a choice now. Keep playing these games, keep tearing each other apart, or change. She pulled out her phone and called Gabriel. He answered on the first ring. Emma, I need to see you. There's something you need to know. Something that changes everything. Where are you? My mother's apartment. Can you come here? I'm leaving now. 15 minutes later, Gabriel walked into Patricia's pristine living room. His eyes found Emma immediately, and the relief in them nearly broke her. Are you okay? No, but I will be. She took his hand. First, you need to hear the truth. All of it. They sat. Emma explained everything. The blackmail. Diana's deal with Victoria. The manufactured evidence. The web of lies built on family dysfunction and corporate theft. Gabriel listened, without interrupting. When she finished, he turned to Diana. You tried to destroy my relationship with your sister for money. Yes. Diana's voice was barely a whisper. And now you want my help. I don't deserve it. I know that. Gabriel was quiet. Then he looked at Emma. What do you want me to do? I don't know. Part of me wants to let her face the consequences of her choices. But she's my sister. Broken and flawed and cruel, but still my sister. Emma's eyes filled with tears. And I don't want to become someone who chooses revenge over redemption. Gabriel squeezed her hand. Then he addressed Diana. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to give my lawyers all the evidence against Victoria. They'll handle pressing charges and recovering the stolen funds. In your statement, you'll tell the complete truth. How Victoria approached you, what she offered, why you agreed. No lies. No spin. Okay. You'll also publicly apologize to Emma, not for me, for her, because she deserves it. Diana nodded, tears streaming down her face. And finally, you're going to get help. Real help. Therapy. Not for your image, but for yourself. Because Emma's right. This pattern ends now. Diana looked at Emma. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I was jealous and scared, and I hurt you in the worst possible way. You didn't deserve any of it. Emma didn't respond. Couldn't? The words were too little, too late. But they were something. Gabriel stood. Emma, can we talk? Privately. They stepped onto Patricia's balcony. The Chicago skyline glittered in the winter night. I should have fought harder, Gabriel said. When you walked away at the dinner, I should have followed you. Should have demanded to know what was wrong. I was trying to protect you. I don't need protecting. I need you. Messy and complicated and absolutely worth every challenge. He cupped her face. Emma Rodriguez, I love you. Not despite your family or your small apartment or your paint-stained fingers. Because of all of it. Because you're the most genuine person I've ever met. Because you make me want to be better. I love you too. So much it terrifies me. Good. We'll be terrified together. He kissed her. Soft and sure and full of promise. Come home with me. Not to my penthouse. To wherever you feel like yourself. I don't care where we are as long as we're together. My studio apartment is 600 square feet. Perfect. I'll learn to appreciate minimalism. Akema laughed through her tears. You're serious. Completely. Though I should warn you, I'm terrible at painting. You'll have to teach me I can do that. They stood on the balcony. The city sprawling below them, holding each other against the cold. Inside, through the glass, Emma could see Diana and Patricia talking. Really talking, for perhaps the first time in years. The conversation looked painful. Necessary. Real change wouldn't come easy. Forgiveness would take time, but for the first time, it felt possible. Your father would be proud of you, Gabriel said quietly, of who you've become, of the lives you've changed, of the courage it took to walk away and to come back. He'd like you to. He believed people were capable of more than the world expected of them. Smart man, the smartest. 3 months later, Emma stood in the Brightwood Community Center's new expansion wing. The Gabriel Stone Foundation had funded not just art supplies, but 3 new classrooms, 2 teaching positions, and a scholarship program for students pursuing arts. Education.Diana had completed her first month of therapy and started volunteering at the center. She was terrible at teaching, but the kids liked her anyway. She was learning to like herself. Patricia had attended one family dinner. It had been awkward and brief, but she'd stayed. And she'd actually looked at Emma when she spoke. It was something Gabriel wrapped his arms around Emma from behind. Happy? Terrified and exhausted and happy. Yes, good. Because I have something for you. He handed her a small box. Emma's hand shook as she opened it. Inside was a key. It's to the studio space, 2 floors above us, Gabriel said. For your personal work. Your father told me you were brilliant. I'd like to see that brilliance for myself. Emma turned in his arms. You're giving me a studio? I'm giving you space to create. No pressure. No expectations. Just you and your art and all the time you need. She kissed him. Deep and grateful and certain. Outside the window, snow began to fall. The first of the season, Chicago transforming into something clean and new. Emma thought about how far she'd come from that October night at the gala. When she'd felt invisible and small and resigned to her place in the shadows, she thought about her father, about second chances, about the courage it takes to believe you deserve happiness. I love you, she told Gabriel. I love you too. And in that moment, surrounded by children's artwork and dreams taking shape and the man who'd seen her when no one else would, Emma Rodriguez finally felt like she was exactly where she belonged. Not in anyone's shadow, but in her own light. The end.